Guys, what's going on? Welcome to Serial at Midnight. My name is Heath, and in this episode we are taking our second look at the westerns collected in the Vengeance Trails box set from Arrow Video. This is a series of spaghetti westerns, a collection of spaghetti westerns that have been wonderfully preserved by Arrow. We've already covered Massacre Time. I'll link to that video in the description of this. But in our second look of 4 looks, we're going to talk about My Name is Pecos. This is a 1966 Italian Western that was directed by Maurizio Lucidi. Sounded good, right? I did a good job of that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Robert Woods is the star of this film. Robert Woods is in a lot of spaghetti westerns. He had previously been in The Battle of the Bulge, the Hollywood production, The Battle of the Bulge, big war movie. And he went to, like in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Leonardo DiCaprio's character goes to Italy. He's kind of a star, maybe on the decline in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, so he goes to Italy and he makes a bunch of Italian westerns and they reinvent, or Italian movies, they reinvent his career. Robert Woods is one of those guys that was kind of based off of. So My Name is Pecos is a very traditional spaghetti western. It doesn't do a whole lot that's unique or like memorable. But that doesn't mean that it's not good. Because we've talked before. We even talked in the first video. We talked in the Massacre Time episode about how it's not necessarily what these movies do or what they're about. It's how they do it. It's this style. And that's why these movies are a good doorway, a good gateway to westerns. Because they're so visually, they're like comic books. And I don't mean comic books in the sense of like superheroes. I mean in the sense that like the shots are composed very artistically, lots of landscape shots, lots of profiles, lots of silhouettes. You'll have like the cemetery with the crosses is a common spaghetti western theme. They have a very distinct look and appearance, and because they're so visually interesting and because they have rock music soundtracks, like 60s guitar pop, they are very approachable. That's actually a great thing for people who want to get into this stuff. It's not, people, you could look at that as a negative. I look at that as a positive. I think it's great to bring other people in. So My Name is Pecos doesn't really reinvent the wheel. It just has fun with the wheel. It's a revenge story. Robert Woods is a very distinct looking character. They've actually given him a makeup job where his eyes, they've like pinned his eyes back to give them an almond shape. He's supposed to be a Mexican in the movie, and he is seeking revenge for the death of his family. Not really a spoiler, that's what the entire movie is about. First scene in the movie, he guns somebody. Someone says, but they pull a gun on him and they, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Beep, beep," kills the guy and he goes, "My name is Pecos." Cue the song. We get the lyrics that tell the story of what we're about to see. You can't spoil these movies. It's not what they're about. They're not mysteries necessarily. It's just about having fun with what they do. So it's 90 or so minutes of very good, very violent, all the tropes. It's not as violent as some of the others. It's not as violent as Django from Corbucci or even Massacre Time from Lucio Fulci. It's less than that, but we still get, there's a formula to these movies. At some point, the main guy's going to get captured. He's going to get beaten to within an inch of his life. And then he has even more reason to go on his revenge quest. And this follows all the beats and stuff. But it's a lot of fun. I love these movies. If it sounds like I'm being derogatory about them, do not get me wrong. I adore these movies. I really do. There's a sequel that is not included in this box set. It's sort of a different take. It's more of a comedy take. This is not a comedy. This is very straightforward. They're really pushing it here with sort of the censorship. Censorship's not... There's no nudity in this movie, but they're getting closer and closer to it. I think by the end of the 60s, you would have that in Italian movies, but I don't think you have it yet by 66. But very interesting, very evocative, very provocative violence and sex on the screen. So this has a lot of special features that I want to talk to you guys about. I also need to show you the interior. This has a reversible sleeve. So there's our disc art for My Name is Pecos. And then underneath, there's Robert Woods doing what he does, which is pulling that gun, shooting people over his shoulder. He's a gunman. He's a very skilled gunman. So it's a new 2K scan, or a new 2K restoration from the original 35mm camera negative by Arrow. Looks great. I mean, these movies, for those of us who have been around since the 80s and the 90s and who have loved these movies for a long time, they've looked terrible. For forever, they've looked terrible. You know, you would watch a movie on TV, it would start in widescreen, and then when the credits were over, it'd go boop, and so everybody's like way stretched out, like they've been smushed, because they were fitting it onto a 4:3 TV screen. That's all gone. This looks so good. This is why I get excited about these things, because I mean, if you've loved these movies for a long time, we ain't never had it so good. We've never had it this good. This is exciting times. So new restoration, you got the Italian and the English front and end titles, because it had, I'm not even going to try the Italian name, but you have the English, restored original lossless mono Italian and English soundtracks. Got your English subtitles. New audio. This is great. C. Courtney Joyner talked to us about this, and he was on Massacre Time, the special features for Massacre Time. He's got another commentary here. He told us this was coming when we talked to him on in our hour and a half long interview, two-parter here. He has a commentary with Robert Woods, the star of this movie. So they sit down and they talk about this movie and what it was like to make it. You got recollections from the star of the movie 55 years later, 56 years later, depending on when this was recorded. It's amazing. A Giant in the West, the new video interview with actor Luigi Montefiore, aka George Eastman. The legendary Italian movie actor, George Eastman. He's in a bunch of spaghetti westerns. This is one of his earliest, not just spaghetti westerns. He goes all the way up through the 80s with the like post-apocalyptic cycles that they would do. So he's here. It's one of his earliest roles, talking about what he got to do, what his experience was making the movie. Indecent Proposal, a new video interview with actress Lucia Modugno. I think I said that right. She's the sort of the lead actress. There's a couple of female leads in the movie. She's one of them. Pecos Kills, a new documentary featuring a new video interview with film historian Fabio Melelli and archival video interview with cinematographer Franco Villa. That's very informative because Melelli also pops up on Massacre Time. He is very much like an Italian film expert. He is Italian. And he's kind of guiding us through what these movies do. He talks a little bit about the censorship. Again, I say censorship, about how provocative it was and what they were really pushing, the boundaries they were pushing against, and putting it in context, which is great. We need these movies put in context so that we don't go, well, that doesn't age well, that's stupid. You got to put movies in their context. So I'll hold up the back of this. There's a lot to read there, so I'm just going to hold this up and you can freeze frame this if you would like to check everything out. But My Name is Pecos, I'm going to say it. It's a classic. Arrow refers to these as 4 classic Westerns. I agree. They may not be the most recognizable, How many, I think your average movie fan probably can name maybe 5 spaghetti westerns. Maybe they can only name 3. I know they can name The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Can they name the other 2 from that trilogy? Do they know Duck You Sucker, A Fistful of Dynamite? Do they know Once Upon a Time in the West? Do they know Django? Do they know these? These the deeper cuts, the stuff that doesn't get lauded and praised all the time. So thanks to Arrow for lauding and praising these. Guys, we're halfway through the Vengeance Trails box set. We will be back here soon to talk about the 3rd movie in this collection, which is Bandidos. So stay tuned. Let me know what you think about these movies in the comments below, and we'll continue that conversation. So thanks so much. Take care. Until next time, here's where to go and what to do.